Hello. Hello, my queens. This is Yasmin, and welcome to another episode of X.S.M podcast. And as we know, that is X and the single mom. So, how is everybody? We are in the middle of the summer, and I can't believe it. When I was with you before, queens, we were on a series about the weight we carry. But when the summer hit me, I got to thinking, wow, the weight we carry. We did 3 episodes, and that was fantastic. But what I decided to do was to put that on pause. So I do owe you 2 more. And I decided that our single moms, and this is all off of experience as well, we needed a single mom summer reset. So I decided to talk to you a little bit about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace. So we're going to dive into something, and then we'll go back to the weight we carry. And I hope that's all right with you. So welcome single moms, my queens, and welcome to reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace. And think about this, moms. You don't have to carry everything into the rest of the summer. I always love the summer. I'm a baby boomer, so we grew up kind of like departmentalizing the summer. And no matter what we had to do for 9 months, we spent the 3 months kind of like in a different mind space. And that's what I want to do for you. I feel like summer is supposed to be lighter. But for a lot of single moms, and even when I was one, it isn't. And you know why? I know you know why, queens. The children are home more. So what about your routines? Do they change? Expenses, do they increase? And then you got to figure out why. And somehow everyone expects summers to be filled with fun, memories, trips, activities, smiling pictures, all of that. And I think at one time, at least in the time I grew up that was actually possible. But in 2026, the summer of 2026, is that even possible? And I think sometimes we're tired before the summer even began. So I want to try to talk to you just a little bit. This is going to be a shorter podcast about taking something back this summer. Your time, your energy, and your peace. So again, welcome, queens, to another episode of X and a Single Mom, which is X.S.M podcast, where we talk about real life, real challenges, and the sheer strength that it takes to raise children while you're trying to hold on to yourself. Like, I kind of thought about that, and I broke it apart because I said, you know what, I think I need a summer series where I can talk to my queens. And I think in the summer, at least for me, and maybe I can impart some of this on you, I looked at the summer as a reset. I still do. I'm a retired trainer and professor, but mainly professor. I don't work in the summers. So I'm at a reset. So even if you physically can't do that, I want you to have a mental summer retreat, reset. So let's start thinking about new plans. Come up with a schedule. Think about your home, what your goals are. Because queens, let's be real, you're busy all day. And sometimes I used to be so busy, I felt like I didn't accomplish anything. But that's not true. I did. I'm raising people. Think about that. I know you love your children. So, but let's face it also, like I said before, sometimes we're exhausted. But here's what I know. You can still make time for yourself and be available to your children. So let's try to help you reclaim some of your time. Here's my take on it. Single moms are often expected to stretch, and I mean literally, figuratively, stretch 1 hour into 3. So think about it. You're managing work, your children, appointments for you and them, meals, meal prep. And when I talk about meals, and we're going to get into that deeper, moms, I'm not talking about just fixing meals. I'm talking about cooking. And there's a big difference, but that's a whole new podcast. Anyway, transportation, finances, all of the household responsibilities, like all of them, every last one of them, and all the little details that nobody notices until they're either accomplished or not. Like, people are quick to point out what you didn't do. So I know that we can't magically give you more hours in a day, but maybe we can carve out a half an hour. So we'll get into that a little bit. But first, I want you to learn to reclaim your energy. And it took me a while to understand that time and energy may not necessarily coincide. But technically, if you have an extra hour available every day, you can make a lot out of that as fuel to do the other, I won't say 24/7, so let's be realistic, the other 10, 12, whatever hours that you put in. So pay attention. I want you to understand that you have to adequately figure out and divide your time so you're not depleted. And I hope that makes sense. I know we live in a time where you're constantly checking social media. Those are precious hours. You have to think about that. The time that you spend on that. I'm just telling you, I'm into mine too. But I know when to stop. So especially during the summer, why don't you kind of draw back on that a little bit and give some of that social media, tech time, whatever you guys call it, to your children. So take some more time out for you and consciously think about where your time is going, because that helps you to regain your energy. And you have to set boundaries, and we talked about that before, but we'll go into that deeper. So what I want you to understand is that during this summer and this summer special, I want you to reclaim some of your peace. And you know I'm very big on that. And it is tried, true, and I understand. Peace. Peace, peace, peace. I'm all about that. If someone infringes on that, no matter how much I love them and no matter how much I want to, I don't let nobody get into my peace. So, all right, we have to figure into what does peace look like for you, because it probably means something different. In my observation, and I'm thinking in the time we live in, think about turning your phone off or putting it on vibrate. My God, don't turn it off for like an hour or two. That'll give you some peace. You can take that time to jog, journal, read, walk, stretch, laugh, tickle up your children. I mean, whatever you think about. Or maybe like for me, sometimes for a few moments, I like to just sit in silence with my own thoughts. So think about what recapturing peaceful moments means to you. And please remember, I don't want you to wait until you're exhausted to think about that. All right? So another thing I want you to think about is your personal summer reset. I think resets, and especially summer resets, sort of mean something different to everyone. So I'm going to give you a few questions that I want you to listen, remember, and ponder over. You don't have to necessarily respond to me, but respond to yourself. Ask yourself these 3 questions, and they're very important. What is disturbing your peace? Just overall in your life, your job, whatever, your gym. What's disturbing your peace? Question number 1. All right. What is draining so much of your energy? Think about that. What is it? It could be one thing, two things, 10 things. Define it. Figure it out. And also, what is taking too much of your time? And for everyone listening to me, that means something a little different. For me, taking up too much of my time was arguing, to someone that doesn't mean that much. So anyway, as we go forward, I want you to choose a small area in your life, and from all the hustle and bustle and things you do, take back 30 minutes from that. It's going to mean something. It means something to everyone different. I recently realized that I needed an extra 30 minutes or so just to myself in the morning, maybe to take a walk. First pray, then take that walk. And I'm reclaiming 30 minutes, and it has changed my life. I had to share that with you because everyone's going to come up with something different. So figure out how to reclaim 30 minutes. You're just carving off 30 minutes for you. And remember, you deserve that. I think that when I talked about the summer reset, it's like a reset for moms. I understand that you have a lot more with all your responsibilities with the children, but you can also take that time and turn that into something positive. So keep my 3 questions in mind. And I want to challenge you, queens. I want you to stop. I want you to actually really simplify one thing. Think about one thing, just one little thing that you can do for yourself. Write it down. Put it on your phone. Tell somebody else. Make sure that you're accountable for that. And make that one change. I found that since I've lived a lot of years, all right, that one thing I know for sure, change doesn't happen overnight. I want you to first protect an extra hour, and then start thinking about some healthy little things. We're going to take this into small, tiny pieces, all right? And we're going to work on this. So we'll expand on this later because I decided to do a summer series, because what I don't want is I don't want my moms, my single moms, my queens to burn out. So I was thinking that it's sad, but sometimes when you burn out, and I know from when I was a single mom, no one sees it, no one knows it. So you have to figure out what's the difference between burnout and you're just tired. So you'll have to figure that out also in your mind. Like right now, I'm just touching the surface slowly. I'm not doing a deep dive. I'm doing a surface just on the surface. Thinking about how do you protect your peace. All the things that I talked to you about. The woman beyond mom. I want you to start thinking about what that really means. All of these things were in prior podcasts, but for the summer, I want you to actually zoom in and focus on that. All right, single moms? I'm thinking that you can do that. Think about the summer reset. Think about everything I taught you, share it with you, whatever you want to call it. So my single moms, we're getting to the time in the podcast that we're getting ready to end. And what I want to do is I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you for another, just sitting here listening to my voice. And I do this from my heart. So just remember, you can reach out to me on X.S.M podcast@gmail.com. I also have a website for you, and I am working on growing it, making it a resource, and that is X.S.M. I'm sorry. That is xandthesinglemom.com. So I make mistakes, but I don't edit mine out. When you hear me, you have the real me. All right? Nothing's fake. It's all real. All right, queens. Until we meet again. And like my mom used to say, I never say goodbye. I say so long for now. So long, queens. So long.